Cancer, welcome to your monthly horoscope for March 2025. My name is Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer. And in this video, I will be going over all of the significant energy you will be navigating for the month of March. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. So let's get right into it. This month, we have a lot going on. We have retrogrades, we have eclipses. And so, coming into the month, we kind of enter eclipse season and retrograde, Venus retrograde season. We just had Mars station direct, and now the month of March, we will have Venus and Mercury station retrograde. So, the new moon in Pisces, we had February 27th, the last few days of February. Kind of that is what initiated us into the eclipse energies. We have the North Node in Pisces, and so that new moon was not an eclipse. However, it was still quite powerful and was bringing in new energy, themes, events, experiences, and situations to shift and change your direction. So, this entire month of March, we really need to pay attention to what is showing up because there's going to be a lot presented showing you what you will be potentially moving away from and letting go, and what direction and new journey you will be moving into. Now, March 1st, we have Venus stationing retrograde. On March 3rd, we have Mercury entering Aries. On March 14th, we have our full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees. On March 15th, we have Mercury stationing retrograde in Aries. On March 20th, we have the Sun entering Aries. And on March 22nd, we have our Venus Cazimi. On March 24th, we have our Mercury Cazimi. And then on March 27th, we have Venus re-entering Pisces. On March 29th, we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees. This is closing out the Aries Libra axis in your chart. So, the changes that have been taking place the last 2 years in these areas of life, there's something kind of showing up here. It's like I don't want to say it's necessarily like a new event or energy, but there is one last almost like hurrah, and then it will be closed out. This whole kind of journey and change in this area of life will finally be complete. Now, also on the 29th, we have Mercury re-entering Pisces. And then on the 30th, we have Neptune entering Aries. So that's very significant, and we're definitely going to feel that. So, for those of you who have not watched any of my monthly horoscopes before, I do break the horoscopes down by week and I select a chart for each week to give you a bit of a visual. So, week one, on the first, we have Venus stationing retrograde in Aries at 10 degrees. You have Aries in your 10th house of career and public reputation, public image, your legacy, your public life. And so there can be a lot that you are rethinking, reassessing, and reevaluating when it has to do with your career and your legacy and your public image. Now, Venus also rules your 11th house of friends, friendships, social groups, and online connections, and your 4th house of home, family, property, and real estate, and also feelings and foundations, what you do behind the scenes, your private life. The 10th house is your public life, the 4th house is your private life. So there can be a lot that you are rethinking in these areas of life with this Venus retrograde. But think back to the last month because Venus has been pre-shadow. And when the planet is pre-shadow, that whatever themes and topics are presented during the pre-shadow period, it tends to, those themes and topics are what we are reassessing and readdressing throughout the whole Venus retrograde cycle. So think back the last month, what has really shown up for you around home and family, career, your public reputation, also friendships, social groups. That can give you an idea of how this Venus retrograde energy is working with you. Now, March 3rd, we have Mercury entering Aries. Mercury is going to be pre-shadow coming into March because Mercury is going to station retrograde and then move back into Pisces. So pay attention to what that Mercury, um, what is kind of being presented around mercurial themes and topics. What conversations are you having? What information are you receiving? What thoughts are you receiving? This is a time to journal, write things down, anything that kind of stands out. Once we get to the second week of March on the 14th, we have our full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees. Now, Mercury is the dispositor of Virgo. So while Mercury is pre-shadow, Mercury is also ruling the south node in Virgo in your third house of communication, your mindset, also your local environment, local travel, vehicles, community, neighbors, neighborhood, also siblings and cousins are in the third house. So those themes and topics can all be front and center. And also, too, because you have the South Node transiting that third house, there's going to be changes in this area of life and the North Node in your ninth house. So there's a lot of activations um, with these nodal changes. Now, I will be linking throughout the video my Venus retrograde forecast and also my lunar nodes forecast. So you can check that out because I get really deep into those energies. And also, I get into more charts around the Venus retrograde. So you can kind of get a much more deeper feel for what that energy can bring. But also, yes, I want to mention on March 11th, we have Venus and Mercury forming a conjunction. So Venus will be retrograde, Mercury will still be direct. But this is where you can have an important conversation or um, you can receive some type of information. So you do want to pay attention on March 11th to what is showing up, around information, conversations, thoughts, news, media, all those mercurial themes and topics, because they may not seem significant in the moment, but they may be down the road. And then Mercury, again, ruling, being the dispositor of that South Node, I believe throughout the month of March, we are really going to get a feel for what we will be moving away from in this area of life or what is coming back from the past. Now, on the 15th is when we have Mercury stationing direct at 9 degrees of Aries. Um, and so then Mercury is going to retrograde back into Pisces. So they pretty much, not exact, but it's pretty much the same degree point. So there's a lot that we are rethinking and reassessing in this area of life. And you have Pisces in your ninth house of higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, philosophy, belief systems. So there can be a lot that you are rethinking, around belief systems, higher knowing, spiritual pursuits, astrology. That's all in the ninth house. Now, I didn't note it here, but on March 17th, we will have the sun forming a conjunction to the North Node. And this is very significant because the North Node has been at that 27 degrees since February 8th and will be there until April 17th at that 27 degrees. So this 27 degrees of Pisces is kind of a potent degree point that's had repeated activations. And so I feel like when the sun, because the nodes primarily work with the sun and the moon, I feel like when the sun forms a conjunction to the north node, there can be some really beautiful support or insight or clarity coming in around this new journey that you are taking in this area of life. So pay attention on March 17th to what is showing up for you. Now, on March 20th, we have the sun entering Aries in your 10th house of career and public reputation. And then on March 22nd, we have our Venus Cazimi at 2 degrees of Aries. And this is when Venus gets cleansed. There is a renewal taking place with Venus. So this is a day where you can receive, some support or insight, or I don't know if it's really clarity because Venus is retrograde, but it's like more to the story that's playing out with this Venus retrograde journey. I feel like there's definitely something coming in, shifting and changing your direction in some way. So definitely pay attention on March 22nd. And then March 24th, we have our Mercury Cazimi at 4 degrees of Aries. So this is with Mercury and the Sun here still in your 10th house. And also too, like this is in your 10th house of career. So there could be a lot of focus and a lot of reassessing and reevaluating your career this month. But again, with that Mercury Cazimi, this is where you can receive a lot of important information or have some really important conversations. So pay attention on the 24th, journal, write journal anything down that kind of stands out to you. On March 27th, Venus will re enter Pisces. And then March 29th, we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees. So, this is where we will have our final eclipse in the 10th house, kind of closing out the changes that have taken place in these areas of life. So, whatever new journey and new direction you've been moving into around your career, public image, public reputation, there's like one more stepping stone. There's one more kind of hurrah and a shift taking place here before we kind of close this axis out and these changes out for good. Now, also on the 29th, we have Mercury re-entering Pisces, moving back into your ninth house. So again, you could be rethinking, reassessing, and reevaluating belief systems, um, maybe astrology, higher education. This is like, higher knowing, the bigger picture. Also, foreign cultures is in the ninth house. And then on March 30th, we have Neptune entering Aries. So this is where the energy is definitely going to shift. Now we will have Neptune in Aries from March 30th to October 22nd. So that gives us a nice little window and a sneak peek to see what this Neptune and Aries energy is going to bring. At least a little bit of an insight, because this is going to be a 14-year transit. But at least this kind of shows us a little bit of what this Neptune and Aries energy is going to bring on an individual level. Now, I will be posting a separate forecast going into the Neptune and Aries energies um, shortly, like in a couple weeks. So make sure you watch for that. All right, Cancer, I hope this helps you navigate the energy for the month of March. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.